What's going on, Port fans? Welcome back to another video on my channel. Today we're going to be previewing tomorrow night's AFL National Draft. It's finally here, the end of the silly season where we pick up a few youngsters in the National Draft to solidify our future and also get the best potential in the young guns that are available come through the sequence of the draft in 2021. It's going to be a massive night, obviously split into two nights, Wednesday night and Thursday night, with the top 20 being picked on Wednesday night and the rest on Thursday night. Port Adelaide won't have to worry about anything other than pick 12 on Wednesday night, because that is the first pick, and our second pick not coming until probably very late Thursday night with pick 62, the next pick. But we'll go through the picks and see exactly who is available for Port Adelaide and what we're looking at for this year's 2021 AFL National Draft. I will go through it for you. Here are our picks in this year's National Draft: 12, 62, 72, 73 and 85. Now, as you can see, we've got 4 picks in the last 5 in the last couple of rounds of the draft. Unlikely to take anything for probably the last couple, 73 and 85. I'm expecting probably a matching bid for Jace Burgoyne. We'll get into that. But pick 12 is the focus. I put out a video a couple of weeks ago about who Port Adelaide could possibly pick at pick 12. And it's come around full circle. There's still a name there, Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira, who is probably a number 1 target in a lot of Port Adelaide people's eyes, just with his silk, his class and his midfielding skills that have been absolutely dominant for Glenelg in 2021. And he's proven to be a beautiful ball user and a possible match winner as well. And it'll be absolutely amazing to see another Wanganeen at the Port Adelaide Football Club. Nonetheless, it's going to be a little bit harder to get him. We can't solely focus on him because there is a big potential that he won't be available at pick 12, which most likely actually will probably end up being pick 14 after Dacos and Darcy could possibly be picked up as a bidding for father-son selections earlier on in the draft night. So there is that potential there that Wanganeen-Malira is our number 1 target, but I don't really believe that he will be anywhere near pick 12 because I think he'll get picked up a lot earlier. So I'm going to give you a few other options that could be possible, what we should be looking at. And I've asked a few of you on Instagram as well to see who you are targeting and who you'd like to see. And I've pinpointed them and had a look and see what we could pick up. But let's have a look at Nasiah Wanganeen-Malira first, because he is probably, as I said, the number 1 target in all of Port Adelaide people's eyes, and it'd be great to have him at the club. And he's exactly what we need. You know, a skillful ball user, great kick at the footy, can collect his own and has some pace to go with it. And as a midfielder, you know, starting at centre bounces, we have the bullish, the big-bodied midfielders. We have the Boaks, we have the Robbie Grays, who are the class and the elder statesmen, and we have the potentials in Rosie Butters and a couple of others that are going through there. But someone like Wanganeen-Malira can make a difference in his earlier stages of his career because, yeah, he might be quite fragile on the body, but his beautiful his beautiful skills will be able to pinpoint passes and hit up targets. And, you know, that delivery inside 50 that we've been talking about, he could make a little bit of a difference to that. And, you know, who knows? You pick him up, he could make a 1 or 2 goal difference, and it's just 1 or 2 goals can change everything when it comes to the bigger picture. But in terms of an individual, he's definitely one I'd be making sure we at least have an opportunity. If he's available at pick 12 or pick 14, whatever it may be we end up with, if he's there, you pick him. This guy, Josh Sin, has been the number 1 most likely for Port Adelaide. Cal Twomey's Phantom Draft. He was the pick 14 pick in that draft selection. He's been on radio this week. He is the most likely selection at pick 14 for Port Adelaide, it seems. And as a defender / midfielder, he's not someone that we've particularly would have been a pick of mine going into this draft. He is a lovely left foot kick. He's a half-back flanker. I think we've got a fair bit of those from the likes of Riley Bonner and Darcy Byrne-Jones and a couple of others that are around the mark as well. It's interesting to see why we'd be targeting another one of those. But in saying that, he's a beautiful user of the footy. He's a long left foot kick. He can hit the scoreboard. He can be a damaging player. And maybe he could become the halfback flanker that, you know, maybe we need more so than we possibly think, because the others aren't producing anywhere near as probably what we'd like. And that sprint-off running half-back flanker that we just seem to have lost a bit of touch in 2021. No one could really be consistent enough in that area. Maybe Josh Sin comes in at 186 centimetres. Got a decent build on him at 78 kilos. From Victoria, that's probably the other thing that I question a little bit, because of Victorian having a little to no footy in 2021. The bare minimum, maybe kicked a kick with a few mates. It could be something that is a little bit of a negative when it comes to picking up a player in this draft that's from Victoria. We know that a lot of the talent will obviously still be picked up, and we know what they've done in previous years. And Josh Sin's ability before this year, his footy skills have been amazing. He was captain, so he's was Sandringham's captain throughout the under-16s and the juniors and stuff like that. So he's definitely got a lot of positives to come with him, and a lot of attributes that will be playing into Port Adelaide's thinking process when it comes to picking him. And I can see why he's the most likely pick. But it's definitely something that's an interesting call, but I definitely would enjoy having him in the club. Don't get me wrong, Josh Sin, what a great name. You know, it'd be a sin if we didn't pick him up, you know what I mean?
Did you see that jerk?
Another bloke I'd be looking at and potentially picking up is a bigger bodied midfielder. Now, similar to an Ollie Wines, could be a good replacement for, say, a Boak and a Robbie Gray when it comes to them winding down after their careers, and we need someone potentially to take over that skillful yet bigger body, bit taller. And we know that this day and age, a taller midfielder is the way to go. You know, Patrick Cripps is in there, Nathan Fife and co. Neil Erasmus, he's been tipped by a few to be very early picked up. But if he does slip, at 190 centimetres, 82 kilos, he's a good size, can move the footy well. He's not a natural inside contested player. He's more of a an aerobic capacity type of runner as well, and he can run with the footy. Might not have the biggest speed in the world, but someone that can break the lines and use his skill, use his aerobic capacity, run his players ragged, run his opponents into the ground. Travis Boak does it really well. Could be something we look at from WA too. So there is that potential to go home factor, but we do have a couple of very good, skillful WA players already on our list, Georgiadis being one as well. So that could be the draw card, and he would have played footy in 2021 as well. So it's an outside option, but he's been touted to be around that 10 to 15 mark. So if he's still available at pick 14, and we haven't picked up Wangani Malira or Josh Sin, Erasmus could be the one to go for. There is a couple of others out there, and there's always going to be so many options. And I heard Jeff Parker talking today that there are a select group of players we have on our list that if they are available, we're taking them. Obviously not going to name names, but these are a couple of potential ones I figured would be a good pickup for Port Adelaide. You also have, as I mentioned very early on in this preview, that Jace Burgoyne will be picked up as a father-son selection, being nominated. It's expected that he'll be in the second half of the draft. Now, that will be coming on Thursday. That's why we have 62, 72 and 73 and all these picks in the 60s and 70s, because we want enough points to be matching any bid that comes, say, in a 35 to 45 range, which I'm thinking probably be the touted pick. So you look at it in that sense, and we go with matching a bid in the 35-45s with Jace Burgoyne. There's your second, third round pick, and then you probably come to pick 85, and you're looking and thinking, right, we need another couple of spots in our list. You're going to have to pick up something. Is there anything out there that's available? And I heard a name today that I have been touting could be Port Adelaide bound, and I think would be a very good pickup as a midfielder. Trent Dumont, South Australian boy from North Melbourne, delisted, had a very good 2020 and 2021 season, fell out of favour at North Melbourne for some reason, and now is a possibility could be joining Port Adelaide. Has had discussions with Port, nothing concrete. You look at an option and you go, all right, we've taken Jace Burgoyne, we've taken Wangani Malira. Two very silky running capacity players. We need a bit of depth in that big-bodied midfielder. Trent Dumont, you know, maybe not pick him up in the national draft, but could come in the rookie draft, and could be taken as a delisted free agent or something that gives them an opportunity, gives them a second chance. And we've had great success with bringing players that have been delisted onto our list. And if Trent Dumont's available, I'm taking him. I'm definitely taking him. He's got great talent. Bring him home. SA boy, a different environment, could absolutely thrive. And we've seen this year a couple of injuries into our key midfielders, and we're looking a bit scarce. So if he's available, and Port Adelaide haven't had anything really deep enough to say, well, you can come to Port Adelaide, we're looking for something like you, I'd be getting on that phone call, because I think he is a great quality pickup and an absolute steal for nothing if we do decide to go down that road. As an SA boy, I'm pretty sure he's a Golden Grove boy too, which is up my way, which is even better. It'd be definitely a massive pickup for Port. So that's something else to look at too. And one other thing I want to discuss before we finish up this preview is, will we trade into the second and third rounders? It's unlikely. I think we've got our bids, our picks ready for the bids that come our way for Jace Burgoyne. I think there's enough points in there, and whether or not we decide to maybe trade in next year's picks to get in a couple more, that'll be interesting to see. But we've also got to think about next year's draft, and there's a lot of questions there. It'll all depend as well on how Jace Burgoyne ends up going and what pick he does. But essentially, I think we're in a good position. Pick 14, pick 12, whatever it ends up being with the father-son selections further up the draft. We've got options. There is options there, and I wouldn't be too worried, Port fans, because I trust our recruiting managers and Jeff Parker and Crane and all of his team, because they've done a ripper job in the last few years. So no doubt whoever they pick in this year's draft will be a match winner. Thank you so much for watching this preview of Port Adelaide's potential picks in this year's AFL Draft. Wednesday night it starts. The first 20 picks will be selected, so make sure you tune in and see what we can do with our first pick. And then Thursday night it will continue on for the rest of the day and see what we can pick up from then on. But thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new for plenty more Port Adelaide and AFL content to come your way in 2022. We're almost done for the year. Let's get rid of the draft and see what we can build in 2022. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Anthony, and as always, count the pair.